Today we talk about app development. It's a lovely day in the neighborhood. It's a lovely day in the neighborhood. Won't you be mine? Hey everybody, what's up? The DOYO Live Marketing Show coming to you live from the neighborhood. I am with good friend, neighbor, and CEO of SenSource, Mr. Joe Varacalli. I get that wrong every time, don't I? Since I've met you.
You got it right, Joe Varacalli.
Yes.
You got it right. Yeah, you even got the little Italian thing going there a little bit.
Exactly. So I am hanging out in the neighborhood. We got two Italians on the couch with coffee. That could be the new nickname for
Cheers.
the DOYO Live
Cheers.
Marketing Show. Thanks everybody for dropping by today. As you get in, we are going to talk with Joe about Love This Place, which is an app that he's developed through an idea from conception, from coding to now a live production app of getting people obviously together. We're going to talk about what that app is, and we want to give some advice away for if you are ever in the mood to go to app development. And then obviously there's the marketing aspect of that as well. So Joe, thanks for dropping by today. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
And I think that we've given the people that are going to be joining us a little bit of context. Joe is actually, we live across the street from Joe. I was going to say my neighbor, but he's been in the neighborhood a lot longer, so this is his neighborhood. We're just borrowing it for a little while.
I have been here a while, yes.
So that's a little bit of context. And Joe's actually been to DOYO Live for the past 2 years as an attendee, the first year, and then last year as one of our sponsors because they've got their Love This Place app. So very excited to have you on today, and thanks for making the time. But before we jump into talking about the app development, let's talk a little bit about SenSource.
Sure.
You are the CEO of a company that is born and raised here in Youngstown, Ohio, which is a really cool thing. And tell our people a little bit about SenSource.
Yeah, sure. Well, probably most of you don't know anything about SenSource, but here we go. We started in 2002, and we went from a company that basically sold sensors and controls to the industrial automation market.
Mm-hmm.
There's two of us, Kevin Stefko and myself, that started the company. And we went quickly into a business that develops sensors and now software that monitors customer traffic. We basically count people as they come through the door with really high-end, we call them intelligent imaging sensors.
Right.
And then we marry that traffic with software that helps retailers mostly optimize their store operations. So we know how many people have come through the door. We could tell them how many people walked out without buying anything, how much staff they have on the floor, how well their marketing has helped with promotions and increasing sales, and really we try to optimize their staff level and their staff quality.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's stuff. That is fascinating, and I'm in a lucky position. I say this all the time because I get to sit down, with people and talk about their businesses, and life in general, marketing especially, because it is a marketing show and entrepreneurialism. And I'm always amazed every Friday when I get the opportunity. I hear all these great stories of fantastic businesses in our community doing great things, not on just a local level, but on a national level as well. So that's a great story to tell a lot of aspiring entrepreneurs that jump on and watch this show.
Yeah, and what the cool thing is we're in not only retail and some big names like Abercrombie and Fitch and Express and Sephora, name dropping. I'll continue to do that for a little bit.
Yeah,
we're in Disney.
That is awesome.
We're in Disneyland, Disney World. We're at the World Trade Center in New York City.
No kidding.
And we're actually have our equipment in, I think we're up to 44 countries right now.
Really?
Yep.
That is fantastic, Joe. That's really cool stuff, and I think we're going to have you back on the DOYO Live Marketing Show to dig more into the SenSource conversation about how the world is changing rapidly from a tracking perspective with marketing. But the thing that we wanted to focus in on today is hearing about the app that you developed,
Sure.
Love This Place app. And we talk to our viewers and
Yep.
talk a little bit about the whole process involved. So first of all, what is Love This Place?
Love This Place is a local nonprofit organization, and our tagline is uniting for the good of our community. And we've been around for a while. We've worked in some of the local schools, like in the middle school, mostly in middle schools, to in grade schools, I'll say. We did character building presentations, and we still do that, but our main focus right now is really encouraging people to get involved in work for the community. So one of the ways we decided the best way to help do that was not to come up with another nonprofit that's doing something real specific.
Yeah.
We have a lot of good nonprofits in the area, but we decided let's do something that actually helps our nonprofits and our volunteers connect. Hence the Love This Place app. We like to call it Match.com for volunteers.
Right on.
Right?
Okay.
So rather than finding someone that you'd like to maybe develop a relationship with,
Right.
we're helping volunteers finding organizations that they'd like to help for the good of the community.
Right.
And we make it real easy. So all our organizations go on the app and they create a profile,
Okay.
kind of like you would on Match.com.
Right.
And so do the volunteers. They create a profile, interests that they have, causes that they feel passionate about.
Right.
And whenever one of the organizations then puts an event on that they need help with, we push out a notification via email right now to anyone that has those matching causes within the profile that would be a good match for that organization. So
Interesting.
They know, hey, this week Habitat for Humanity might be having a build that they need help with, or
Yep.
Youngstown Neighborhood Development Corporation, that's another organization that's on. We actually have 30 organizations on our app, probably more than 30 right now on our app. Everyone from the Rescue Mission to Red Cross to Habitat to YNDC, and there's a lot more that people can choose from.
That's really cool. It's like, the other day I got a message from Junior Achievement about signing up to be a speaker in schools locally.
Yeah.
That's the perfect example for use
That's right.
case application for Love This Place in the app.
Absolutely. So we just want to make it as easy as possible for people to find opportunities to help out in the community and just make our community a better place. We're focused on Youngstown and the Mahoning Valley right now.
Right.
But our goal is that once we really get it right, we build up our volunteer base to then start going out to other communities.
It makes complete sense from everything around, from the mission. Yesterday was the So Good conference in Youngstown, which is about social enterprises, and Gianna Senafani, who put that on, was on the DOYO Live Marketing Show a little over a week ago, talking about that whole experience or about that event. So the question that I have is that we understand now that you've got this wonderful, elegantly designed app that is providing a service of matching, playing the matchmaker between the volunteers and the organizations that need them.
Yep.
Let's take this back to the start. Let's take this back to conception, even before coding.
Sure.
And when did you feel that there was a need or a problem that could be solved with the app?
With the app, sure. So I guess what led us to that point was as we sat a few years ago and we're trying to decide what could Love This Place do better for the community. All of our board members sat around the the table and just brainstormed.
Yeah.
We brainstormed and we said, well, when you talk to people about getting involved, what's the response that we get? And 9 times out of 10, the biggest response was, we would love to help, but we really don't know where to start. We've never done it before, so we don't know where to start. We don't know where to look for a calendar. That's kind of where we started brainstorming. How can we put these pieces together just to make it as easy as possible for people to get involved if they want to.
And so at that point then you've got the concept or the idea to be able to put this platform together. So it's like, oh, we got an idea. We've got an app idea, right? Now, where do I go next with the resources to even now take this to development?
Right. Well, I'll tell you where I went, but then I'll give you an idea where most people could go.
Yeah, right.
I had the convenience of owning SenSource, so we have developers at SenSource that also have a passion for the community. SenSource itself, part of our DNA is we do community service once a quarter. We make it a point to actually pay our people that day to go out into the community and do something good. So it's kind of like a paid day off that doesn't count against their PTO.
Right. That's great.
So we just try to encourage it, and we had the developers. And we basically just used our resources.
Gotcha.
We had some help, but
so pause there for a second. SenSource is not an app development shop.
We're not.
So now you've got an app,
yeah,
and you want to take it to market, or you want to get it built. What are some of the resources that are out there? Because I don't really know.
There are definitely companies out there, firms that specialize in web and mobile development, mobile app development. You have to do some due diligence to find the right one.
Yep.
And then there's the internet, which right now we're actually taking advantage of. So we have this app that we've developed.
Okay.
But we also, it's actually a web app right now. It's app.lovethisplace.us, or like I like to say, .us.
.us.
app.lovethisplace.us. And so it's technically a web app. You could go to that site with your mobile phone, and it looks and feels like an app, or you can go on your computer and it has all the same functionality. But we want to bring that over to an actual Google Play Store and iPhone,
so you could download
iTunes or whatever, where you download the apps on your Apple device as well. And so to do that, what we've done is we've gone to a resource called Upwork.
Okay.
Upwork is right. Around the world, you can find developers that specialize in mobile development and onboard them. And
Upwork.com is essentially a resource that's been built that it's almost a freelance perspective. Like, you can go onto Upwork and you can find marketing consultants. Yep. You can find branding designers. You can find coders. You can find anybody that's out there that is in need of this type of work. You can submit your job, and then 2 or 3 or 5 people will pick it up and kind of get back to you on that. And there's a handful of sites that are out there. So Upwork is one of them.
Yep. Yeah, Upwork is one of them that we're using right now to help us out to take this to the next level. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
And there are WordPress type of app development stores that are out there that are kind of already built. We tried to establish an app, obviously a digital conference in year one. RJ Thompson with the City of You and his group designed kind of on a WordPress platform an app for the conference, and they did a fantastic job. We just didn't get it out in time, so we're still in the process of, even after year 2, of knowing that we need an app for the conference that would make it more engaging and more exciting.
Sure.
So now that we've got the app built, we figured out the problem that we're going to solve for. We know that there's a need in the marketplace. Obviously, this is, I think the big misnomer too for a lot of people is whether it's for-profit or non-profit, the story doesn't change. We're all fighting for people's time and attention, and everybody's got a good story. Yep. So, whether this was a for-profit, privatized type of business, the app still needs to get out there, right?
Yep.
So now, how do you get traction in the marketplace with, with people from a marketing perspective? And I'll throw this caveat out there. Apps work because you've got people on both sides of the equation.
Yep.
You've got the business that has to sign up, and then you've got the individuals that need volunteers as well. So how do you get that out there?
And here's the difficult part, right? There's thousands of apps out there, and some of them just take off.
Very crowded sea.
Yeah, and some of them don't.
Yep.
And we're not the only volunteer app out there. There's a couple others that do a good job. I'll say first, the thing that differentiates us is that as we grow, we want to actually have someone in that community that's spearheading the growth for the community.
Okay.
We're not looking to just throw the app out there to the world, and whoever gets on it, somehow they can figure out, organizations will stumble upon it within areas. We want to have someone in each area. So it'll be a slow growth, but a very purposeful growth for us. So how we get it out there is social media right now. We're just really, for our area, I'm personally putting it out there. We've actually hired a firm to help us with social media as well, to do some regular posts for us. And I'll give a little plug for Melissa Nagy. If you know her.
We do, and I can't believe she didn't drop by today. But Melissa Nagy is an individual, does a great job with creative design and social media marketing. She handled a lot of our strategy, or worked with me on our DOYO Live strategy through the course of April through the conference, and did a fantastic job. Yeah.
So when we try to use local as much as we can, we really do. So.
Absolutely, and
great.
And I think that the other avenue is that you've done different events, so getting involved at DOYO Live, and you did your own launch party as well, which was really cool.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
So the launch party that you held back in April or May.
Yep.
Was a little bit of a busy time in your household as well. There was a little bit of a wedding going on as well.
There was, yes. Yep. Shortly thereafter, we had a wedding that we had to jump into.
But you went down to the Tyler Museum of History, and you had a handful of people that were there to talk about it and talk a little bit about that launch. What was that like?
Sure. So that was an open house. Again, we just opened it up to the community, and we promoted it on social media. We wanted anybody and everybody that had interest in volunteerism, as well as the organizations that were in our area, to come and join us at this party. It was just a fun atmosphere,
right?
To make people aware of what we were doing with the app, and I think we're going to do something like that. We might skip a year, but our plan is to once a year actually have, I guess we can call it, we'll probably come up with a fancy name, and maybe you can help us.
I don't know. First of all, don't rely on me for naming conventions, because DOYO, I've got in the past week, again, DOYO, the DOYO. So yeah, I don't know about naming conventions, but I'll definitely help you with any sort of promotion that we can obviously push out there for it.
But we're for lack of a better word right now, it's a volunteer fair where again, it's we like to have a fun atmosphere, not a stuffy sit down dinner where at the end sign up and donate type of thing. We're not going to do something like that. It's just going to be a fun atmosphere. Our local nonprofits can set up a little table for information. People that want information,
right?
We'll invite the community. Again, it'll be an open house type event. Come join us, have some fun. It's going to be more like a party to introduce people to each other. Volunteers meet organizations that you'd love to get involved with.
Absolutely. So we are going to make sure that we put this in the show notes. We're also going to make sure that we include this in our next week email that goes out every Friday at our DOYOLive.com website. You can subscribe to our newsletter, and we'll make sure that we put it in that as well. It'll live on our blog, so you can go out and you can sign your company. Does it have to be a nonprofit? We talked a little bit about that. Did you?
So one of the things, so right now on our app, we're primarily solely focused on nonprofits that are their focus is community service.
Okay.
In one way or another, your focus is doing something good for the community. Again, unity for the community, right? United for the good of the community. I lost track of my second.
So, nonprofit is primarily regulated to nonprofit.
Yeah, so businesses, you were asking about businesses, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So, one of the things that we want to do is add a team functionality to our app. So, if your business wants to get involved, you can actually create a business team or multiple teams that are part of your business. But there's no reason why businesses can't get their employees to sign up and say, hey, this is a great way.
Right.
We're gonna do something next weekend, or we're gonna give you a few hours off next Friday, or whatever, to do something good in the community.
Right.
There's nothing that would stop a business from getting involved in that way.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to put in the show notes where you can grab Love This Place app. You can very easily Google it. It comes up first, especially in a direct search, and you can find them on social media. So we're going to make sure that we get out there, obviously do our part to help gain some traction. That it doesn't really need our help, but we like to endorse things like this as much as we possibly can. Joe, I really appreciate you taking the time to be on the DOYO Live Marketing Show, and obviously coming back for 2 years in a row. Our call for speakers is open until November 30th, and yesterday I gave some tips on how you could get in to speak at DOYO Live. So you'll be included in a 6-month-long content marketing strategy. So that's free marketing for your business for 6 months. If you got something to say on marketing, digital strategy, sales, branding, creative, and I gave away some tips yesterday on your best opportunity. And one of the best opportunities is just to make sure that you completely fill out the registration form, which not everybody does all the time. Anyway, so take care of that. And then also, we aren't done. So what I like to do is I like to end all of our shows with rapid fire questions.
All right,
you ready?
let's go.
Okay. What's on your desk at your office?
What's on my desk at my office? My monitor. And usually about 10 other things that I try to be organized, but I got some trade journals that I like to read.
Right.
One is called Fast Retail, something like that. I can't even remember the name of it right now.
You know what though? Honest to God though, like early on in my career, there was a guy that like anytime that we were on a company function or meeting, all his breaks he spent time reading trade publications in his industry. And I asked him about that, and it had a profound impact on me, because he said that you always have to be studying your craft, whether you're looking in your vertical or out of your vertical. But it's really the only way to stay up.
I'm always looking at two things. I'm looking at how other people are creating company culture.
Interesting.
It's really important for us to have a really strong company culture. And two, obviously I need to stay ahead of the game with what we're doing as a business. So I always try to look at those two things primarily, not that I don't do anything else. But
Is the first something that you're able to just observe from watching other companies more so than read about?
A little bit of both. I mean, it's
not one place.
Yeah, it's hard, I guess, to observe, so to speak,
the internal workings of another company.
But there's companies that you read success stories, and how did they do this? How did they go from a company culture where people hated to go to work to a company culture where people love to go to work. And how did company A do it or company B do it? Microsoft had just gone through a big transformation of company culture, and it was a really interesting read.
I'm fascinated.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated with the companies that are out there, the Whole Foods of the world, and we'll see if Amazon impacts that at all, and the Chipotles of the world, where the worker is pretty much an hourly worker, right?
Yep.
And they're not making hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they care so much about the business,
Right.
More so than and that always intrigues me of how does Whole Foods create a company culture so that the person that is stocking the shelves feels like they're like they love that, like they're like it's amazing.
Yeah, I think it always comes from the top down. The owners, managers of a company need to care about their people, and you can't fake that. It has to be real. It has to be genuine.
Yeah.
And then they have to demand that from the rest of the company. And then when you hire people, you have to take your time hiring the right people that also have a genuine interest in others. That's, I think, for me, where it starts. And you just kind of have to build on that and develop that culture. If people know that you care for them, one of the things that I like to say is, we're not in business to make money. We're in business to make people.
Mm-hmm.
And money is the icing on the cake.
Yeah. Yeah, if you put the people first, the other's going to follow.
Yeah. They're going to care about what you're doing. They're going to care about you. You care about them.
All right.
It's not a hard formula. Sometimes it's hard to follow just because you're always focused on the money part.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's really good advice for our people.
Yeah.
All right. Kind of a trick question because I kind of already know the answer to this one, but iPhone or Android?
Android for me. Not that I have anything against iPhones.
I don't either. Yeah. Whatever works.
I just like to play around with my gadgets too much, and the iPhones don't let you do that.
It doesn't let you do that. Steelers or Browns?
Browns.
Flags are at half-mast this week after the debacle in Cleveland. And after all, it is still Cleveland. I know LeBron,
Yes.
won us a championship, but it is still Cleveland, and that meltdown is very painful for people. So are you a Cleveland fan across the board?
I am a Cleveland fan for sure. As far as football goes, I'm actually a Dallas fan.
Oh, there we go.
But I also root for the Browns. I do root for the Browns.
Right.
When they play Dallas, it's a no-lose scenario.
Win-win.
It's win-win.
Yeah.
If they ever get to play Dallas.
If they ever get to play.
Yeah, right.
I have lived a few other places, and a childhood friend of mine is a director of PR for the New York Yankees. So when I moved to New York, I actually, and this is even before I moved to New York, I actually got to watch a game from the press box at Old Yankee Stadium. And I'm never going to be the local guy rooting against the home team.
Yeah.
It's just not my nature. Now, I would like to see the Yankees go on to win, deep into the postseason. Yeah. I was disappointed. It always is. It makes winter a little bit shorter around here if the Tribe can keep playing just a little bit longer.
A little longer, yeah, absolutely.
I won't share all right. So, last great book you read.
Last great book that I read was, oh gosh, Start With Why. I guess that was sort of like a personal development book.
Okay. Is that what? Did Simon Sinek write that?
Simon Sinek, yeah.
Big fans of Simon Sinek on the DOYO Live Marketing Show. I have been for a while. First came across his YouTube video, which is one of the most watched YouTube videos from TEDx.
Yep.
Completely changed his life. And it is a live show. So we got a little lawn work
going on here.
But yeah, Simon Sinek, check that out. Start with the why.
Yeah, great book. It's a little distracting. Huh?
Beverage of choice: wine, liquor, or beer. Although Joe, you make a mean cup of coffee.
Sure. Coffee definitely in the morning. A good strong cup of coffee.
Okay.
I've finally developed my taste buds to not have any sugar in it, but it's got to be some good stuff. And believe it or not, my son actually roasts the beans.
Well, I believe it. It's them that
I have home roasted beans in our coffee right now.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I kind of go back and forth. I like wine. I like beer. It just really depends the event maybe and how my taste buds are going that night. I like a really good wine, and I like I'm sort of like a beer sipper. I'm not like a see how many.
Well, we got a little chill in the air this evening, so it feels like a cigar and wine night.
Oh man.
So
those are the best.
Yeah. And whenever it's at your house, it's easy for me to get home. I can just walk across the street.
Exactly.
All right, this one's a very controversial question. The most difficult one I'm going to ask you today.
All right.
And some people have actually pleaded the fifth on the DOYO Live Marketing Show.
Okay.
Best pizza in Youngstown.
Best pizza in Youngstown. Man. Okay. That's tough because there's a couple of them that are really good that I like. I love Wedgwood.
Yeah.
I love Belleria.
Right.
And I love Inner Circle. I really do. I like the Inner Circles. I gotta say, you gotta eat it fresh out of the oven.
Yeah.
Belleria is good fresh, or you can reheat it the next morning for breakfast.
It's a gift that keeps on giving.
Exactly. And yeah.
Good stuff. And last question: What's one piece of advice in business that you either have received or you give?
Gotcha. Well, I guess if you're starting a business and you have an entrepreneurial spirit, don't let fear stop you. Go for it and be persistent, because it's 9 times out of 10, maybe 99 times out of 100.
Hey, Beth.
It's not gonna happen overnight. You gotta work at it. You gotta prepare yourself for that, and you gotta prepare yourself for that mentally. There's some mental fights that go on. Should I really be doing this or not? And always learn from others. You can't do it on your own.
Yeah.
You gotta learn from others, because others have gone down the road in one fashion or another where you could learn from their advice. And I say that for any aspect of business, whether it's starting a business fresh, or whether it's you've been in business for 5, 10, 20, 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
You can always learn. I say, I can be better at anything that I do tomorrow based on what I'm trying to learn today.
Interesting.
So,
yeah.
Don't get stagnant. If you don't learn, you're gonna get stagnant.
Don't get stagnant. Patience wins the game.
Yep.
Staying in it, the long game.
Yep.
It is very easy to all of that. That's great advice. That's the true entrepreneur's pathway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then secondly, I would just say, if you have employees that work for you, they are the most important part of your business. So treat them as a gift.
Yeah. Or in the people
Don't
business,
treat
not
them
in the money.
just someone that's got to do some work for you.
Gotcha. Hey, buddy, thank you for dropping by today. Really appreciate it. We're going to post the show notes for the Love This Place app. You can download that whether you're a business or you're looking for volunteer opportunities. Joe, thank you for dropping by today. Really appreciate
Absolutely.
it. And if you want to speak at DOYO Live, go to DOYOLive.com. Sign up to be a breakout session leader in 2018. And that's all I got, man. It's time to go.
Good deal.
All right, cool.
Thanks.
See you.